Hello, my viewers, and welcome to a thought-provoking exploration into the dynamics of race, privilege, and power. Now, in today's video, we take a look into the uncomfortable truths surrounding why some palm-color individuals perpetuate anti-blackness, articism, and uphold WS ideologies. Now, at the heart of this discussion lies a fundamental question. Why do palm-color people continue to exert control and judgment over black communities? Now, our exploration leads us to a profound insight that these attitudes are deeply ingrained in the fabric of WS culture, which has roots in American and European history. So join me as we unpack the uncomfortable realities that many palm-color individuals struggle to confront, from the entitlement to control and judge black people to the fear of acknowledging their own complicity in perpetuating articism. Let's take a look into the psychological and cultural factors at play. Through honest and candid conversations, we aim to shed light on the complexities of race relations and challenge the pervasive narratives that uphold systems of oppression. With that said, check out these videos from this palm color man. I will be right back.
Why is it that white folks support anti-blackness, racism, and white supremacist culture in so many goddamn fucking ways? Why is it that we support it through our silence, our defensiveness, our denial, that code of silence? Let's not talk about it. Let's ignore it. All that fucking gymnastics, that defensiveness, the fucking anger, the passive aggressiveness, the stereotyping, the overt, covert racist, all the shit that we do, the gaslighting, all that fucking shit that we do as white people. Why can't we just leave black people the fuck alone? Why? Because we were taught that shit. It's our culture. White supremacist culture is American culture. It's European culture. We see ourselves as overseers. We ourselves as entitled to control and judge black people. White Americans wanted, back in the day, we demanded black people be segregated, right? So we segregated. Black people said, okay, great. We're going to make our own shit. They started doing great. What did we do? We fucking burned their communities down to the ground. And you gotta sit in your fucking silence? You ought to be ashamed of yourself for not giving a fuck. Every single one of you that can't talk about it, that spews fucking racist narratives, stereotypes, denial, gaslight. That's not their reality. Telling black people what the fuck they should think, feel, do, be. Fuck you. Do better. Reject your fucking training, your indoctrination. Question your own goddamn morality racially for once in your fucking life. I'm tired. I'm tired of what my people have done, what they continue to do. I'm fucking sick of it. I'm tired of seeing people suffer. I'm tired of the fucking inequality. And you ought to give a fuck too. White folks tend to take credit for everything except their own damn racism. Yeah, it's a cultural thing. It's what we do best. Nothing scares a white person more than a simple, honest conversation about race. And believe me, I know this to be true. You can even look at how many white people are following me on my social media. Where are they? They have scattered like little white cockroaches. They just disappeared. The very few white people that follow me on social media, they're out there. Thank God there's a few of them that have learned and grown over the years and that are in fellowship with me. And it's a good thing, you know, in spirit, in this fight for racial justice. But it's just amazing. All you got to do is look at, and my message is for white people, but look at how many white people are actually in my social media, commenting, following, active. Very, very few. It's the same way in my life. I have lost, God, so many close and dear white friends and family. When I say family, I'm talking about close family members that will not, that we don't speak anymore. Same thing with my good friends that I've lost. Kids, white friends, dear white friends I grew up with all throughout elementary, middle school, high school, white friends that I worked with in the past. They will not speak to me. I reach out to them, they ghost me. So it's incredible when you have an open and honest, you can just, I have a challenge. I dare any of you guys just to go out to your white friends, okay? And just have a simple, open, honest conversation about race. They can't do it. White people can't have an open, honest, 90% of them cannot do it, because we're colonizers. We just don't have the capacity to have an open conversation about race, because if we do that, then we're acknowledging that we're racist. Then we're acknowledging that we're dirty and foul. And most white people don't have the capacity to do that. They've been taught to think of white people as pure and good and great and angelic and honest and, moral and outstanding citizens. Bullshit. Most white people are fucking racist. And if they're not overtly racist, they're covertly racist by their silence, their compliance, their complacency, their apathy. Yeah, you might use the N-word, but you could give a fuck about what happens to your brown, black, and indigenous brothers and sisters. You don't give a fuck. Most white people, I could dare to say, don't even know who Emmett Till is. Don't even know who Tamir Rice is. Most white people today, ask them who Emmett Till is. Ask them who, they know who Martin Luther King is. Yeah, that's the one person they know. And most of them will be threatened by a person like Malcolm X, but ask them who Trayvon is, who Tamir Rice is, who Ahmaud Arbery is. Ask them, Sandra Bland. Ask them. Most white people don't even fucking know. That's the God's truth. They don't even fucking know because they don't fucking care. So I challenge you, and write in the comments any experience you've had with white people in the past, good or positive, about conversations with race. Because go up to a white person and, a friend or a family member and just say, hey, don't you think black people deserve reparations? Watch the verbal gymnastics. Watch the, well, yes, or hell no, or, well, yes, but, all fucking day long. You talk about race, to a white person, it's, well, yes, but, for example, just simply make one statement like this. Say that, black people are not racist and not supremacist. White people are, however, but black and brown people are not. Indigenous people are not. Say that to a white person and see what happens when you say that white people are racist and white supremacists. Then tell them why. Because we're colonizers. Because racism is part of our culture. In order to colonize, as colonizers, we used racism to justify stealing, pillaging, raping, all that shit that we did. White men and white women. Pillaging, raping, colonizing, stealing, all that shit that we did. Lynching, all that shit that we do today as colonizers. To black people and brown people and indigenous people. That incredible amount of apathy that we spew daily, that complacency racially of not caring about humanity of other people unless they happen to be white. That's why nobody knows those names. Ask your white friends who Emmett Till is. Ask your white friends who Tamir Rice is. Ask them. Tell me what they say. Have those conversations. I guarantee you most of them cannot have a simple conversation. And it's incredibly frustrating for me. So I want to challenge you guys. Write in the comments your experiences if you want to take the challenge. If you feel like it, I appreciate it. And I want to get this conversation started and see what happens.
Now, indeed, it is very true that what this man is saying truly aligns with the uncomfortable realities surrounding the perpetuation of artisanship and WS culture by some individuals within palm color communities. The assertion that these attitudes stem from deeply ingrained cultural and historical narratives is a poignant reflection of the systemic nature of artisanship. The observation that palm color people often struggle to engage in honest conversations about race for fear of acknowledging their complicity in perpetuating artisanship resonates with the experiences of many marginalized communities. The reluctance to confront uncomfortable truths underscores the privilege and power dynamics at play, as well as the deeply entrenched belief in the purity and superiority of palm-coloredness. The assertion that palm-colored people see themselves as overseers entitled to control and judge Black people speaks to the broader structures of oppression and domination that have historically shaped society. Now, this mentality perpetuates harmful stereotypes and reinforces systems of inequality and injustice. Overall, his videos offers a compelling analysis of the complexities surrounding race, relations, and underscores the urgent need for introspection, accountability, and meaningful dialogue. It challenges individuals, particularly those from privileged backgrounds, to confront their biases, acknowledge their role in perpetuating systemic oppression, and actively work towards dismantling orthodox structures in pursuit of a more equitable and just society for all. Now, his video offers a comprehensive analysis of the factors contributing to the perpetuation of racism and WS culture by some individuals within palm-color communities. But firstly, let's take a look into the historical roots of WS and its enduring impact on contemporary society, which provides crucial context for understanding its persistence. From the colonial era to the legacy of slavery and segregation, systemic racism has been deeply woven into the fabric of American and European societies, shaping attitudes, policies, and power dynamics. Moreover, examining the role of institutions including education, media, and the criminal justice system in perpetuating orthodox narratives and reinforcing inequalities sheds light on the mechanisms through which palm-color supremacist ideologies are sustained. Now, these institutions often serve to uphold existing power structures and privilege, contributing to the marginalization and oppression of Black, Indigenous, and people of color. Now, exploring the intersections of race with other forms of oppression such as classism, sexism, and xenophobia reveals the interconnected nature of systemic injustices and the need for intersectional approaches to dismantling them. Highlighting the resilience and resistance of people of color and Black people communities in the face of systemic oppression offers hope and inspiration for transformative change. Movements for racial justice led by activists and organizers from marginalized communities continue to challenge the status quo and demand accountability from those in power. Now, there is a centuries-long tradition of palm-color Americans abusing classics to justify enslavement and, by extension, to promulgate anti-Black racism. This is part of history of intentional overt WS within classical education. Even now, as school districts and departments of education challenge the ways slavery is taught, classics instruction too often supports a sanitized, inaccurate version of slavery, one that relies on the same tropes used by Southern enslavers and lost cause Confederates. One textbook, for example, unquestioningly reproduces the myth of benevolent enslaver. Students read that when Davis is sold at auction, he was filled with fear and doubt as to what might happen to him, but he needn't have worried. All Titus proved to be the kindest of masters. A discussion question again reduces systemic oppression to an interpersonal matter when students must imagine themselves as enslavers. If you were a Roman slave owner, would you use strict discipline or relative kindness to manage your slaves? Why? A question from the 2015 National Latin Exam, NLE, required students to select an adjective to describe a person who says to his father, "The slave is valuable. Sell the slave and keep the money." The NLE is taken by over 125,000 students annually. The answer to the question was practical. The problem is pervasive. As late as 2019, events held under the National Junior Classical League brand featured fundraising auctions in which students posing as enslaved people were sold to the highest bidder. The NLE and NJCL are not rogue organizations. They are part of the American Classical League, the professional organization for teachers of Greek and Latin languages, literatures, and cultures. Recently, ACL acknowledged that it has been involved in perpetuated and tolerated acts of racism and intolerance within the organization. Now, Bethany Hacks, a Black classist, explained the impact. It requires the descendants of enslaved people to talk with palm-color kids and teachers as though this kind of thing didn't directly affect our families through violence for centuries until the present day. Now, today, high school Latin classrooms are overwhelmingly palm color, even in schools that are otherwise diverse. One of the few sources of data about high school classics, the College Board reveals that only 3.62% of AP Latin exam test takers in the last decade were black. It's unclear whether this lack of diversity explains how the field has maintained art to the cis ideals and practices for so long, or whether the hostile spaces created by art to the cis policies and practices explain the overwhelming palm-coloredness of the field. Now, when it comes to conversations about race between black and palm-colored people, it feels risky, but are valuable. Let's take a look at a study by Kiara Sanchez, a PhD student in psychology, who ran 5 different studies with a sample of 727 black and palm-colored participants. Now, overall, Sanchez found that both groups had identity-specific concerns. Among palm-colored participants, some said they felt that they lacked a common ground on which to have these kinds of discussions. Others were scared they might say the wrong thing or come across as arch-racist. While black participants also saw possible pitfalls, they said they were more hesitant to talk about their race-related experiences with their palm-color friends than they were with friends of color. They worried that their palm-color friend might dismiss their experience, not understand them, or see them through the lens of a stereotype, even if inadvertently. Now, this is very true. At the same time, the researchers found that black participants said they wanted their palm color friends to understand their experiences as a person of color or a black person. They hoped that by having these talks, their palm color friends could become more anti-orthodoxist, and when it came down it, they said they would be willing to share a personal race-related experience with most of their palm color friends. Now, what was striking was that even though both sides felt these concerns, they also wanted to have these conversations. Sanchez said they saw the risks, but they also saw a lot of benefits. Now, this is where the problem comes in. Conversations about race shouldn't be so uncomfortable. I think people should normalize having these conversations in order for palm color people to understand experiences of marginalized people. I think only then can they start changing. But hey, we have finally come to the end of the video. Share your thoughts as well in the comment section. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.